And welcome back to the Kyle Suchsland Show. Thank you guys for joining us today. I have a fantastic show for you guys planned today. We are talking PGA Championship. It is the fourth major. Hold on. It's the second major. It's my fourth ranked major of the year. And we're going to talk through it. We're going to talk history of Aronimink. We're going to talk a little history of the PGA. We're going to do our 2026 storylines, talk about the field, and then from that, we also have an interview with the 2025 PGA Professional Champion, Tyler Collet. Tyler's going to be joining us this week while he preps to play in the PGA Championship. So that a fantastic interview with Tyler. Highly recommend that. You can watch him play Thursday at the PGA Championship. So thank you to Tyler for that. But you guys know what time it is. Hit my music. All right, let's go. Where do we want to start? So we have Tyler, and now I've watched a couple interviews, and they've said it three different ways, and I think in all the interviews I watched. So I'm gonna give it a try. You can tell me if I'm right. Collet?
It's Collet, like whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit. Okay. I was like, let me prep. I'm gonna watch the interview and see how they say it. And then I watched two different things, and it was different. Both the different things.
Everybody gets it wrong. It's not. I'm used to it.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Hopefully, no offense there. So
yeah, no, all good. None taken.
Perfect. So you are the assistant pro at St. John Islands Club.
Not Saint. There's no Saint. It's just John's Island Club.
No Saint. John Islands Club in Vero Beach, Florida, correct?
Yeah, Vero. Yep, Vero Beach, Florida. Yep.
I'm just getting everything wrong there, aren't I?
It's all good. yeah, John's Island Club in Vero Beach, Florida.
Perfect. And you are, and maybe hopefully I get this one. You are the 2025 PGA Professional Champion.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Let's go 1 for 4. There we go. And now you are playing in the 2026 PGA Championship.
Yes, sir.
For your fifth time, is that correct?
Yep, fifth one.
Nice. Okay, so how was the day then, and how is the prepping the range today? What would your day look like?
Yeah, so we got, it was a long day, to be honest. We got there. We got on site about 7:00 this morning. I got my credentials, got my caddies stuff squared away. TaylorMade does a really good job. I'm on TaylorMade staff, so TaylorMade does a really good job of getting us new bags for the week, and so I had to switch everything over for that, and then had to get my agent's credentials all set, my coach's credentials all set. So I had to do that. I was on 5 Clubs show this morning with Gary Williams on Golf Channel. Had to do that at 8, and then after that I kind of got into the practice in the day a little bit, hit balls a little bit. I got a new set of irons, so got those dialed in for the week, and then played the front 9. Didn't really hit it great, so came back to the range. Actually, I had lunch after the 9 holes.
This was all before. This was all before lunch you did today.
Yeah,
oh my God!
Lunch, yeah. And then, so after the 9 holes, we ate lunch, went back to the range, worked out on the range for, 45 minutes to an hour, and then went to the back 9, played the back 9, hit everything good except for the driver. So I had a new driver built up for me afterwards, and, hit the range after that, and kind of dialed that in. So, and then I got back to the place I'm staying at like 6:30. So
damn,
it was a long day.
That is a full day. I probably did 1/1,000,000th of what you did today. Similar. I did play Aronimink on 2K25 this morning, getting ready. So, similar, I took like 5 steps to get there. So a little different a day today.
There you go. Nice.
But that's great. Great to hear. It sounds like it's just so much that goes into it, just even on the first day. What's the plan for tomorrow then?
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a little lighter, obviously. I'm still going to get there around 7. My caddy is going to walk with another caddy and map some greens out at 7:30. It's going to take him like 2.5 hours. to do that, all 18 holes. And while he's doing that, I have the Corebridge Financial team of 20. I have a picture at 8:00 with them that we have to do. And then right after that, I'll just kind of chip and putt and maybe hit a couple balls until my caddy's done. And then once he's done, then we'll play the front nine again.
And then what does Wednesday look like for you? Or is that full, or is that more resting? To kind of
it's gonna be like a light day. We'll play the back nine, and that's about it. So we'll see. So I played all 18 today, front nine tomorrow, back nine Wednesday, and then so see the golf course twice.
That is you're coming off a hell of a lot of work too after last week too. Congratulations on the Myrtle Beach finish.
I appreciate it.
Great to see you make the cut. I was watching you on the Apple weekend.
Yeah, it was a little stressful on Friday evening watching the cut move from 1 to even and 1 to even.
You kept moving back and forth.
Yeah. So, but it was overall a good week.
Nice. And then, so I know I've heard on some, Kevin Kisner mentioned before the WOD Wednesday. Does that come through usually Wednesday morning? When does that check clear?
Yeah, it comes in, it comes in Wednesday morning, like first thing Wednesday morning.
Oh, it's got to be a great text to get. Here's how much money you got.
For sure. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So I also heard, did you do any pre-trips to Aronimink before getting ready?
No, I was up here at Aronimink. I played it in June of last year. So okay. I have a friend that is one of the assistants here at the course that I work with down in Florida, and so he hosted me up here in June of last year. So it was a nice little scouting trip beforehand, but it was in really, really good shape, but it wasn't near as what it was today. So the rough's up, the greens are quick. It's a little soft, but they had a lot of rain last night up here. So the greens are pretty receptive. Fairways are pretty receptive as well. So, if you hit fairways this week, you should play well, to be honest.
Nice. So what's your thoughts kind of coming in then this week? Is it going to be, long ball hitters? It's going to be rough as length. What's your kind of coming into it?
Yeah, I think it's not it's a par 70 and it's still 7,400 yards. So it's fairly long. But as far as some of these guys hit it, I think as long as they hit fairways, they're gonna be just fine. I think fairways is a premium, no matter how far you hit it or how short you hit it. If you can find the fairways, you can kind of attack some hole locations, and you can really kind of score your golf ball around this place if you can hit fairways.
Very cool. I'm very much pulling for you this week then. Very much looking forward to tracking you this week. And I know the PGA Championship does a great job in this showing coverage. It's on all day for people like me to sit my fat ass on the couch and just sit there and watch all day. So,
okay. Yeah, the PGA does do a really good job. It's nice to see all the coverage. And I'm pretty sure they do their best to cover at least one shot of every player in the field, which is nice.
Well, I'll make sure we get your shot. I see your shot. Then we'll make sure we see them. We'll talk about that in our recap shows where I'm doing after each round. So,
sounds good.
Heard a couple funny things. I want to see if they were true about your post round. I think it was of the PGA Professional was after your third round. I heard an interview that you had a very nice meal of Panda Express. Is that true?
That was the year before.
Okay. So I watched an old interview. That means that.
Yeah, that was the year before after one of the rounds at PGA Golf Club when I won that year.
Okay.
We did go to Panda. Yes, we did go to Panda.
That was a great one then. So then that was I had an old one to my other question then, but I was being a Panda fan myself. I really appreciated it. Loved hearing that of after a round.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Being from the then of the kind of I saw an interview from West Virginia originally.
Yeah, I'm from Charleston originally. Yep.
Okay, so then I kind of non-golf question then is your football team? Are you now Dolphins fan being in the Florida area?
Okay, good. Yeah, good question. So being in West Virginia, we don't have like any professional sports teams near us.
Okay.
So I really didn't grow up around it. So I'm not a huge professional sports fan. I'm a massive West Virginia Mountaineer fan, though.
Okay.
So college sports is where I kind of live, and West Virginia football, West Virginia basketball. I went to a West Virginia basketball game this year. They played UCF in Orlando, so I went and saw them there. If I had to choose somebody in the professional sports world to pick, football wise, I'd probably pick the Steelers, just because my dad's from Morgantown, which is only an hour from Pittsburgh. Which I guess that means I'm a Pirates fan too. So,
yes.
But like I'm not. Yeah, I don't really watch it that much. Like, so.
If that's not what you're living day to day, then it's a little harder than obviously you see. Yeah. I'm a massive Cubs fans also.
I see that.
As I love golf, as I love the Cubs and then the Bears also too. So I'm a massive Bears fan. So
awesome. Yeah. So I was in Chicago a few years ago, and we were wanting to go to a Cubs game, but they weren't in town that day. But the White Sox were. Okay. So we went to a Sox game, and that is a tough part of town.
And it's kind of just like going wherever you want and pick your seat essentially nowadays.
Pretty much, yeah. That was exactly how it is. Like we had our tickets and we had our seats. We sat down.
Doesn't matter.
And then half the stadium was empty, so we just moved closer. So
yeah, no, that's where you gotta get to Wrigley, and if you want to for a football game, Soldier Field is a fantastic spot to be.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. I've been to a lot of baseball stadiums. I've been to the new Yankee Stadium. I've been Cardinal Stadium. I've been to what's the one in Baltimore? I've been to the O Stadium.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name of it either. But that.
Yeah, but I've been around, and it's I haven't been to the Pirates Stadium either, but it's nice to get into games. I would much rather watch baseball in person than on TV.
And especially with the pitch clock now, it's like nice, a little bit faster. That's something you do kind of after a round. Is that something as you guys travel, got to catch a baseball game?
Yeah, like when I'm on the road, I won't do it by myself if I'm on the road by myself, like playing like a state open or whatever. But if I have a caddy with me, we like to, it's tough. Like, don't want to sit in a hotel room and starting at 4:00 and just sit on our phones and stuff. So we'll try to find stuff to do and maybe go out to a nice dinner or go to a baseball game or something.
Very cool. So last question for you then.
Sure.
The brand that I have on this is called Birdie to Bogey, which I've named after. I'm always usually on the green. I have probably a long birdie putt. And then I'm walking off. I'm like, how the hell do I have a bogey? Like, how does this always happen? So any tips for me to avoid 3-putting, to get a little bit better with lag putting? I heard on an interview you said you were putting is one of your best spots of your game.
Yeah. Great question. So, there's two things that you need to focus on in putting. One's speed and one's line. The most important one is speed. So if you can dial in speed, and then that's you're going to save. You're not going to 3-putt as much. So I would just say if you're going out to play, spend 10 minutes hitting 20, 30, 40 footers on the practice green and really just try to get in that 3-foot circle.
Okay, that's a good call. That's good.
Yeah.
I usually purchase a shorter one, so I will definitely start doing some of the lag putting more work on.
Yeah, a lot of people do just hit the short putts, and the short putts are good. You need to make those. However, a lot of people don't hit it that close in regulation, so you need to work on lag putting too.
Well, yes, that's great advice. I'm playing tomorrow, so I will definitely work on that as we try to maybe hopefully break 90 tomorrow. That's a goal. So
I wish you all the best in that.
Appreciate that. So I will let you go, get some prep. Great. Congratulations on Myrtle, and best of luck this week at the PGA Championship. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Have a good one, Tyler. Thanks you. Oh, so let's get into the PGA Championship. Obviously, you just heard me go on about how it's not sometimes it's not the greatest tournament if you listen to the last episode, and I'll stand by that. Right, the PGA Championship is definitely the fourth ranked of the majors in Kyle's majors fun list. Masters clearly first. We will highly debate the U.S. Open versus the Open in a month here. And the PGA Championship has always felt like it's a little weird. There's always been a little bit of an era of mystery. There's always been an era of mystery over the PGA Championship. Some of the courses play a lot different. You have LIV that, is playing super hard. And then you have somewhere like Valhalla where it was kind of demolished. I guess LIV wasn't really that easy, but you have somewhere like Kiowa, right? Where you have Kiowa or Southern Hills, where you have single-digit winners. And then you have places, like I was talking shit about Quail Hollow, like I was talking shit about Valhalla, like I was talking shit about TPC Harding Park. TPC Harding Park, not really. We had a 13 under there. That's not really so much there. We're never really going to get. Always seems like it's interesting conditions for the PGA Championship. You have some that are extremely difficult. You have some rough that's super high. You have some turtleback greens. You have some old Donald Ross courses. You have some new Fazio courses that have been designed. So it always seems like a little bit of a grab bag for the PGA Championship. This year, we are getting a more historic of the courses. This year, we are at Aronimink Golf Club. So Aronimink Golf Club is right outside of Philadelphia. It started as a cricket club in 1896 in Philadelphia. And then president and the course brought in Donald Ross, who was at the height of his kind of architectural powers at the time in the 1912. And completely redesigned the land. And then in 2018, it was redesigned by Gil Hanse. Donald Ross called it, when he was done, one of his greatest achievements, that he couldn't believe what he created. And that's Donald Ross at the height of Donald Ross powers too, right? We're not looking at Donald Ross as he get later in his career. This is one of his favorite courses, as someone that's designed some of the better courses in the world. This is the second PGA Championship that the club's ever hosted. The first was in 1962 and won by Mr. Gary Player. Now, they have had a couple other events. The most recent was the 2018 BMW Championship, won by Cap himself, Mr. Keegan Bradley. That was in the BMW Championship. Used to go between Aronimink. It used to go then. Medina. Sometimes they went to right outside by us, and I think it was at Conway Farms also in Chicago. So they used to, but we're not talking about BMW Championship. That's offing. So Aronimink, it's a long course. We're playing over 7,400 yards this week. It's a test for where it comes down to. Thanks to my friends at No Laying Up, they really said it's going to come down to who's going to strike the ball further, who's going to strike the ball closest, right? Like every week does, but it's a ball for the absolute strikers this week. The longer you are, the better you're going to be at Aronimink. There's not a ton of long penalizations. And then we're going to get into some of that same discussion with rollback potentially this week. I don't want to get too into it, right? Because you don't want to create something that may not happen, because maybe it's not going to happen. But based on how the topography is laid out of Aronimink, a lot of those bunkers should be penalized, but the players and the technology now, you're just going to absolutely smoke it over, and they're going to have zero penalty, and they're just going to be able to kind of hop it up there, make birdies and make pars. So it may come down to a birdie fest, so I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say we're going to get some crazy birdie fest this week, but I kind of think we are. It really depends on course conditions. Like every week you hear on the coverage, right? Well, they got a lot of rain and they got a lot of wind, and the U.S. have a little bit of a drought this year right now, so they have not got a lot of rain. So I don't know if they have, at least being in Chicago, it has not rained a ton in the last couple weeks, It rained a lot like a month ago. So we'll see how the course plays and see what as it's only Monday night right now, so we don't have a lot of the conditions aren't out yet, but we'll see as it gets later into the week as some of the conditions are coming out and how those are looking. So let's zoom out a little bit. We talked already about the history of Aronimink. Let's talk about the history of the PGA Championship, and it's a little different. We talked about the Masters and Augusta. You're talking about a patch of land. You're talking about a piece of property that's been there for the entire time. That's where they play the tournament. PGA is a little bit different. This is an organization. This is an association that's together that brought these tournaments on. So it's a little different. It's held at, there's not one spot it's held at. It's held at new spots every year. So how did this association begin? 1894, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and there was 41 golf courses operating in the United States at that time. Everyone had their own little tournaments. In 1894, there was big tournaments at Newport Country Club and St. Andrews Country Club in New York. Another was sanctioned, and then there was large arguments, and I'm sure back in the day, it was like, that's where crumb bum. There were people crying, "You crumb bum!" shouting at each other about who won and who was really the best golfer. And this is when then the United States Golf Association was born, just a short, 10 years after that. And while it was being discussed and who is going to be leading the professional golf, how is the United States going to be, businesses going to be operate in this, wealthy department store owner at the time, Rodney Watermaker, hosted a luncheon with all the leading professionals, and he really laid the foundation for the golf tournament. Now, it wasn't a paper napkin kind of meeting. This was a professional golf meeting back in the day, but this is where they essentially laid out for what is the modern day PGA, what is the modern day PGA Championship. It obviously has changed immensely since 1916. They were playing for not as much money as they were back in the day. So the first time later in the 19s, after they figured out later that year, the first one was held at Sewanee Country Club in New York. The first winner was Jim Barnes. And you're going to be asking, well, what did old Jimmy win for winning the first ever PGA Championship? He won a diamond-studded golf medal, okay, and $500. That's it. That is equivalent today to roughly $15,000, right, in purchasing power for the day. So still not that crazy. People on YouTube are playing for more money than that. When that right now than some of that is. People are playing for that a hole right now. So, and obviously some of that's not super timed just because money's changed a lot, especially with the whole LIV stuff. Last year, Scottie won $3.4 million for winning the PGA Championship. That's equivalent today to it's equivalent to 1916 to having $112,000 of purchasing power. So, what Jim Barnes received was $500, but of purchasing power was $15,000 back on that day, equivalent to today. What Scottie won, if he was back there, he would have been $112,000 of purchasing power. So it really showed how much golf has grown. This obviously doesn't make, it's a long time ago. If you're all of you out there saying, hey, no shit, dumbass. Yeah, okay, I know, all right? But it's just interesting of what some of these early tournaments were played for and how much we're playing for money right now. In 100 years' time, is it going to be for $1 billion? I think that's how inflation works, I guess, but just interesting stat. I guess the same thing where time travel blew my mind. It's the same idea there. A very interesting thing about this, the tournament used to be match play. From 1916 to 1957, it was a match play event. That's how a lot of golf was played back in the day. Golf was played, and especially in Europe, it still is widely considered a match play event. In Europe, it is. In America, it is greatly turned into a stroke play, and the lowest one wins. But it is a match. It is made for golf is made for match play. And a lot of people talked about how all right, we're back. So a lot of the talk also of the tournament was it being match play. And that interesting right now is also a conversation that's come kind of back around for what does the finals look like for the PGA Tour. Right now we're playing at East Lake. The playoffs are kind of playoff that eliminates the bottom 20 to 30 kind of each week. But the winner, up till a couple years ago, got like a 10-stroke lead by some people. They've thrown a lot of that out. A lot of people talking now that it should be match play. Brian Roloff, the new CEO, was talking about it should be match play, I believe. Shout out the Foreplay podcast. They were talking about this. Shout out No Laying Up. They were also talking about this when they were talking about the redesign of the tour. Give that podcast a listen. No Laying Up. What does their 2028 schedule look like? Very interesting to hear how the constraints interesting on the tour. Some of the tournaments, and then what would be perfect. And I loved some of their ideas with some of the early swings that were playing on primetime golf. And to be fully honest, I'm only halfway through the podcast. Shout out No Laying Up. They a lot of content, so I'm only halfway through that one. But they were talking about East Lake and talking about how it should be match play. And that is, I totally agree. So that's what this tournament was for a long time. And if we're talking about history, there's a lot of old history on there, right? Now, what you do, if you're going to say, hey, what is a moment that I remember from the PGA Championship? There's probably one that you definitely remember. The year is 2024. Scottie Scheffler has just won the 2024 Masters. By far the best golfer in the world. He is driving his car into Valhalla Golf Club. And as he's going in there, there's a little skirmish where the guy tells him to stop. I think he shows his his badge. The guy doesn't see the badge. It's a whole thing. The officer ends up kind of pulling him out of the car and arresting Scottie in Valhalla. He does his warm up in the jail cell, and you've seen the picture of him with his mugshot. That was PGA Championship. So if we're putting out there what is more historic, that's not things that happened on the course, that has to be one of them. That was a major story a couple years ago, and definitely something you heard about. You know who not would have been arrested by the cops is back in the day is the wealthy store owner riding the Watermaker. Because they would have pulled him over back in the day. He would have thrown him a couple $100 bills and that disappeared. Watermaker was kind of the Wanamaker was really one of the early architects of this tour, the early financiers of this championship. And today, the trophy is still named the Watermaker Trophy. If you heard that, it maybe sounds like from Happy Gilmore. That's the one they talk about in that one also. A couple interesting stories about this one. Really one interesting story. I don't know why I said a couple. But one interesting story that I loved when I heard this. So after winning the 1925 PGA Championship, then number one golfer, the Scottie Scheffler of the time, Walter Hagen, entrusted a taxi driver to take it back to his hotel. Now it's a different world, right? You could trust people back then, but actually, turns out you couldn't because the taxi driver stole the Watermaker Trophy, and it ended up, no one found it for about 5 years until it ended up they found it in a basement somewhere. So I don't know. That sounds like someone found it somewhere and just say, hey, you better just go leave this back somewhere. Crazy story, but very interesting to show you where, especially the times have changed. Can you imagine now Rory winning and just taking a taxi just back somewhere and telling the taxi driver to take the trophy? It's a different time. When you're playing for $3.4 million, and there's a much different era of golf right now, right? It's a much different time. So each year the winner gets to hold the trophy for a year, and then they return to the tournament. They are given then a replica, but it's a little bit smaller of the trophy. Who can win this trophy? It's 156 spots in this major. It's It's a little interesting. So this is really the only one that does it like this. But 20 spots are given to PGA Club professionals and that are in the field this week. So there's a tournament. There's multiple pre-tournaments, but it's decided by the top 20 in this tournament that was 2 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. And all the officials in the top 20 are invited. So you get a very interesting array of people, of club champions from all around the United States that are coming into this, that are coming to this tournament, that are giving it their chance, some of them are teaching professional, some of them are a little bit more professional golfers that are playing at more of an amateur level, but a lot of them are still, all of them are absolutely amazing golfers and have honestly a shot to win this tournament and shot to make the cut at least. All former PGA champions are also then eligible. So that's how we're getting a couple of those oddballs in the tournament this year. And by oddballs, I mean Brooks Koepka. Shout out Brooks, because I'm hot on Brooks. He's a little bit an oddball. He's got a lot of the LIV stuff. We're working through our stuff with LIV, okay? But Brooks, we're not holding Brooks to that. Brooks I've loved him. He's been a big PMT fan for a long time. I've loved him on that. Big fan of Brooks. He has won this tournament 3 times. So he's one of the great winners in the field this year. We have another multiple in the field that have won multiple times. The most wins ever for the PGA Championship, before we talk about what could happen this year, is Jack Nicklaus and Walter Hagen are both tied for 5 wins of the PGA Championship. Phil Mickelson is the oldest in 2021 at winning the event there. So not won by a lot of older men. It is definitely a long hitter's course. Besides Kiowa was not. Greatest winning margin is Rory McIlroy in 2012. And then the lowest 72 hole is Brooks in 2018. And the Aronimink course record is 62, held by Mr. Woods, McIlroy, and Fleetwood. And then also see if Kyle Suchsland can tie or set the course record at Aronimink tomorrow. That video will be live at Wednesday morning, the 13th. A preview of Aronimink Golf Club in video game land. That will be a quick video that will go live on Wednesday morning. So enjoy that. See if I can also join that list of course records. Let's talk best PGAs of all time. So who are our favorite? Let's look last couple winners. So last year, Scottie won at Quail Hollow. Year before that was Xander Schauffele at Valhalla. Year before that was Brooksy at Oak Hill. Justin Thomas at Southern Hills, and Philly at Kiowa. And then the COVID year, which was at TPC Garden Park, was Colin Morikawa. So those lists, Colin, Phil, Justin, Brooks, Xander, and Scottie, you got a heavy hitter list that have won there and going back up that year. The last 10 winners have all been kind of major champions. Some of them with their first major champions, but have all been some of the better winners that we've had the last 10 years. So would expect it not to come from a rookie or not to come from someone that's been struggling, obviously, besides Phil, that kind of backdoored it a little bit. You've had a lot of guys at the top of their game where Brooks was playing fantastic, Colin was playing fantastic, is obviously Xander and Scottie then too. So that will vary really heavily with my picks. I can kind of maybe give it away by saying someone that's been playing such heavy golf. But there's been one guy in particular that's been playing lights out golf this year. That will be my pick for the PGA Championship this year, but we will get to that. First, let's talk best PGA championships of all time. So, a little different than the Masters. I think the Masters ones I can name off the back of my head what my favorite Masters are. This one took a little more research. You obviously remember a couple things. But there's a lot of the stuff I did not remember whatsoever. There's a lot of some of the stuff I didn't know that I was for the first time. You obviously know. Well, I didn't actually even know that. But you know what? Let me get into it. So these are my best PGAs. So I looking at the list. What are Kyle Suchsland's favorite PGA championships of all time? And these are in no particular order because we're not going to order them like we did for the Masters because that seems like what makes one better than the other. We will start with 1999 at Crooked Stick, which was won by Mr. John Daly. His first major win, and how he got there was really the interesting part of the story. So 9 people had to drop out for him to get in the tournament via injuries or whatever. He found out the night before the tournament that he got in and had to drive overnight 7 hours, hire a caddy that he's never played with the day of the tournament. And ultimately that's what secured his first major. It's hard to argue that was a great one. There hasn't been a ton of other ones that have birthed absolute legends like John Daly. But the 1999 PGA Championship at Crooked Stick will ever be John Daly's first major and one of the greater ones, not just from what happened on the course, but how he got there. Next one I have on the list is the 2000 PGA Championship, and that's probably what everyone's thinking. What is the absolute best? I'd probably have to agree with you there. That is widely considered one of Tiger Woods' best playoff duels. And one of the more famous Tiger Woods moment of the hole, pointing at the hole as it's going in, that is in many, many different pictures that it's used in Tiger Woods now. People probably don't even realize where that picture is from right now. That is from the 2000 PGA Championship in Valhalla, in a duel between Tiger Woods and Bob May. So this is widely considered by many golf historians to be one of the better playoff duels of all time, just from how the shot making that it was. Going back and watching it, the 2 shots really in particular that really was, it seemed like it was the just absolute fury of the moment. It was when Bob had his pitch on the first hole, pitched it to maybe 6 inches. Great shot. Easy tap and par. Tiger then drains this massive putt uphill, goes all the way uphill and kind of levers out. And that's where you see Tiger kind of pointing at it as it goes in as he's chasing it, and makes his birdie there to take a lead and kind of shut him out. Not mean he's only one up on the first hole, but was kind of a demoralizing par to make when someone drops in that massive birdie right there. So we talked about the birth of a legend with John Daly. It's also those birthing moments of Tiger Woods that birthed him to be that absolute psychopath that we love, pointing at holes and walking putts in. And then the next person that we really have come to really love also, the 2014 PGA Championship, also at Valhalla, Rory McIlroy. So Rory's first major win, won by 8 strokes, absolutely dominated the field. A little bit of controversy on this one. There was a little rain delay in this one, and it caused Rory to hit a drive pretty much in the darkness, but he was trying to finish the golf tournament, so he didn't have to play the next day. And Phil, I can't remember who else was up there, but Phil was up there, someone with him. And it later came out how upset and just absolute fuming Phil was at the incident. And I think that's interesting now, looking at those 2 golfers, Rory and Phil, knowing of them now, Rory, where his career gone, and Phil, where his career's gone. Very interesting 2014 major there. Leads me into another one, though, with Phil. Shout out Phil Mickelson. Sad that he's not on the field this week, but hopefully all is well with him. But the 2021 PGA Championship at Kiowa was one of the other great ones. Phil, kind of an unlikely winner at that later stage in his career, became the oldest ever PGA Championship winner, and especially at a very hard course, and that was widely considered one of the better just courses of the PGA Championship. The course played very hard, very firm and fast conditions. Those turtleback greens of the Kiowa golf course, everything was falling right off. Some of the other ones that were on the list were the 1986 PGA Championship in Inverness. That was won by Bob Tway. Bob hold out on the 72nd hole to beat Greg Norman. So kind of funny. It's a little bit of the whole Greg Norman of the full butterfly effect there with Greg Norman. Is he so much become an asshole because of what happened, or has he always been an asshole? I would imagine getting holed out at a major and the same year right after what happened to him at the 1986 Masters. They were not similar times. They're not back to back like they are right now, but not a great year for Greg Norman in 1986. Also, what came up was the 1999 PGA Championship, which was the famous Tigers battle with Sergio. It was another Tiger Woods major. There was one of the other PGA Championships on the list. Hopefully, we can have one that joins the listing this week. Hopefully, the field is set. We have a great field. Rory versus Scottie. This is looking like it's going to be a bomber's paradise where we have the top 3 players in the world. Rory, Scottie, and Cam Young are all going to are some long hitters. And we will definitely see who is the best among them this week. Pre-storylines. So what are the things that are going to happen that we can talk about these coming years? Number one that I have in my storyline is my boy Jordan Spieth. Can Jordan Spieth get it done? This would be the career grand slam for him if he can get this done this year. I am greatly pulling for Jordan Spieth this week. His game is actually in a very good spot. He's not the longest of hitters, but he can definitely run it back. Love to see how Jordan's going to do this week. On the other side of that, how is our current Masters champion going to do this week? Rory McIlroy, coming off the Masters win, has just played last week. Looked a little sloppy last week. Would imagine that's him getting ready for Romney. But how does he look this week? Same thing with Rory. Same thing with Scottie. So that battle of Scottie versus Rory. This is the first time we're seeing them play together since the Masters. Since that Sunday, it came down to the two of them. Would love a Sunday PGA Championship. Them playing each other would make for a great Sunday. That sounds a lot of fun. One of their storylines are the PGA Professionals that are in the tournament. So those 20, can one of those PGA Professionals, can some of those make the cut? Can some of them have a chance at winning it up there? The last guy that had a good chance, I'm sure everyone remembers, was Michael Block. He's become somewhat of a figure in the game of golf. It seems like people either love him or love to hate him, it seems like. But Michael Block is back in the field this week, so we'll see how it does. And then Adam Scott has a very, very, very impressive major start record that he is going to continue this week. Okay, so I want to look this up because I had it written down, but it felt like crazy, but I think it's correct. So Adam Scott will make his 100th major start. So that's 4 years for 25 years, which I guess that actually kind of does that up. I don't know why that sounded crazy at first. So we'll see how Adam Scott does. Adam Scott actually just was playing very well at the Cadillac Championship just 2 weeks ago. We'll see if Adam can kind of pull one off here, at least maybe pulling a top 10 to get here. All right, we get into our picks segment of the show. That is what you guys have all been waiting for. All these picks. It's time. Who do we think's going to win? One thing that we've learned this year is definitely hot golfers win tournaments. Simple as that. The guys that have been playing well usually continue to play well. Golf's a very hot and cold streak. And my winner this week is probably the person you're going to see on Golf Channel, but I think he gets it. Mr. Cameron Young. Winner this week. I love him this week. I have him right now at plus 1,100 to win this golf tournament. I love that. I love that. Take it to the bank. Take it twice on Sundays. So you're welcome for that winner. Top 5. I think he plays well. I don't think he gets it done. I ultimately think a slow start is what costs him still. Scottie Scheffler. So Scottie, I think he's going to play well. I don't think he's going to. I feel like the storyline of the year is going to continue where Scottie's going to play well, but he's not going to play super well, but he's going to play kind of well, but not super, and just enough. So we'll see how that goes. Top 10, my sweet boy. He's not going. I think he's going to come close. Ultimately, I don't think he's got the firepower, the yardage. I think he needs to do some yardage training. Mr. Jordan Spieth. I love him this week. I just don't know if he has a length. And I would love to be proven wrong. I will gladly sit on this podcast next week and reap all the oats and whatever that means, whatever that saying is, sow your wild oats. No, that's definitely not it. Whatever that is, I will reap what I sow. I don't know if that's it either. I will definitely do that next week if he does finish higher. I love him this week. I think he's been playing great golf. I don't know if he has the length to win this golf tournament, though. Someone that does have the length to win this golf tournament but does not have the between the eyeballs, between the ears, I think is Chris Gotterup. I think he has what it takes to get something. Maybe not this year. I think he's going to be up there, but I think ultimately he may even have a 18 to 36 hole lead. But I ultimately think some of the experience gets Gotterup in this one. My 2 make the cut parlay. I got an interesting one for you guys today. There's one, and I have a theory behind it, right? It's Hungry Dog runs faster parlay. Shout out part of my take. Hungry Dogs run faster. I love Jon Rahm, Bryson, Tyrrell Hatton, Joaquin Niemann, David Puig, and Tom McKibbin to all make the cut this week because a hungry dog is going to want to run a little faster than the dog that's been fat and happy. And these boys been fat and happy for the last couple of years, and it's time to run, boys. It's time to run. There's going to be, with all this LIV drama, with all this shit, you know what makes your life a lot easier is if you win a major. It will make your life 1,000,000% easier in the next year if Jon Rahm simply wins a major this year. A lot of the conversations about, you want a major this year, a lot of those things people are going to shut the fuck up real quick. And it applies even more to the guys that don't have a major yet. The Tyrrell Hatton. I think he has. Tyrrell Hatton has one. The Joaquin Niemann's, David Puig, the Tom McKibbin. Those 3 on the bottom of the parlay need to for their lives to win this major. It will drastically change what they might have to be doing the next calendar year. Where they might have to be playing, how much money they're going to be playing for. If they can win a major, there's a good chance they're playing in elevated events next year somehow. If this all folds, if they don't, there's a good chance they're going to be maybe going to Q school. I mean, that's for some of these guys, I think there's a lot on the line. And for not just to this week, but for the majors, a great showing in the majors even gets them invited back next year, which if you don't know where you're going to play, at least you know you're invited back to next year. So those are my picks for the week. We got Cam Young to win. We got Scottie top 5. We got Jordan Spieth top 10. Chris Gotterup top 20. And to make the cut parlay is Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Tyrrell Hatton, Joaquin Niemann, David Puig, and Tom McKibbin. So best of luck. I will be betting those this week. I don't have a large bankroll right now for gambling. We are trying to take it slightly easy on that vice. There are a lot of vices that need to be supported right now and not a lot of money coming in. So we're trying to manage the vices. But this week, major week, we will allot some of the funds will be made available for the major week. Okay. I have talked to the Commerce Secretary, which is me, and I've talked to the Transportation Secretary, which is also me. And both of them have agreed to release a small amount of funds for gambling for this weekend because of the fun that it brings. Because gambling is fun. Shout out DraftKings. Shout out whoever you gamble with. Shout out all these people I want to sponsor you guys. Someone sponsor me. I will gladly. I give you guys all a lot of money for free. So at least a sponsorship. That would be very helpful. And that's it, people. We have talked PGA Championship. We have a full preview show now for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. That was a great interview with Tyler Collet. That was a great interview with Tyler Collet. Thank you to him. That was great to get some insights from the PGA Championship from him on the grounds, and some interesting insights from him last week at Myrtle. And what it really takes of, like I said, these 20 PGA professionals that made the cut. They're kind of the working mans of this PGA, where they do have a job after all this too, that they're going to have to go back and do on Monday. Well, probably not Monday, but he will be going back to Vero Beach to St. John Islands Golf Club. Great luck to Tyler this week. We will be tracking him, and we will be talking about him on each of the shows. Hopefully Tyler can pull it off. That'd be very fun to watch him just absolutely dominate everyone in the field. I am pulling for Tyler heavily this week. That's a show, people. So, like I said earlier, we also have the course preview coming out tomorrow of 2K at Aronimink. That will be out tomorrow live. And then we will have our reaction shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then our full recap podcast on Sunday, going over the entire tournament. So thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate it. Until next time, peace.